Boy, oh boy, did I not tell you that there was a burner phone at some time, some shape or form, and now that burner phone has been found on Nichol Kessinger's Verizon bill. Well, we're going to be getting into this video with Unapologetically Me True Crime. If you have not seen or gone over there, I suggest you highly go over there. This woman is probably one of the best deep dives when it comes to Chris Watts. This woman has found things that are like in the crevices of Chris Watts's face and Nichol Kessinger's dark places, which is gross, but it's coming out more and more, and this woman has been finding everything. I definitely do value this woman and her opinions and her findings, so I would definitely say that you need to go over there and subscribe, comment, like, and share. Plus, she's getting closer to 15,000, and I definitely do like her channel and want to help her out. So go over there, but then don't forget to, on my channel, subscribe, comment, like, and share. You know the deal. I thank you guys for the 75,000 subscribers that we have. Again, I can't thank you so much more than what I've already done, but keep on doing what you guys are doing, because hopefully one day we will reach 100K. And then again, like I said before, go over to Miss Unapologetically Me True Crime. But we're going to get into this. It is the burner phone number that was found on Nichol Kessinger's Verizon bill, and I am definitely intrigued. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
People have spent years analyzing the digital information in the Watts case.
I just got here 2 years ago.
Personally, I've spent the last almost 3 years now on analyzing all aspects of the Watts case. Lately, we've been concentrating on the digital files, messages that we can see, calls that were logged, the digital paper trail that made it into discovery. But today, I want to talk about what isn't there. Because oftentimes, what's missing tells a far more disturbing story than what's right in front of us.
Sure does.
As I keep going back over Nichol Kessinger's phone records, I've noticed patterns. And we've talked about some of them already, but more recently, I noticed some patterns that I just can't unsee. Numbers that don't trace back to real people. Numbers that should be there but aren't. So in part 4, we've talked about some interesting connections that some of the phone numbers on Nikki's call history led to. But in this episode of part 4, we're going to talk about the lack of connections to certain phone numbers. And one phone number in particular that is missing from Nichol Kessinger's call history entirely. A number that, in my opinion, should be there at least one time. But it's nowhere at all on Nikki's Verizon bill between July 14th and December 13th, 2018. Who is it? Get ready to find out now on Unapologetically Me True Crime.
I told you there was a burner phone. People thought I was crazy. It's not that hard to buy a burner phone. It's stupid to buy one, but you can still buy one.
Hello, everyone. Are we ready to look into the rest of these phone records to see if there are,
as SpongeBob says, I'm ready! Oh.
any other connections that may be important to this case? I hope so, because that's what this video and the next few videos are going to be about. Getting through the rest of Nichol Kessinger's Verizon phone bills. Not every number, just the ones that I have red flagged. Just a quick reminder, my videos do take a while to produce, and I'm always extremely appreciative of those who understand that. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but winter sickness came through the house too, so
I feel you, girl.
That didn't help. And it's always like a domino effect, right? Isn't it? If you have kids, you know, one kid comes home sick, and then slowly, one by one, everyone drops like flies, and everyone ends up sick. Anyway, in the last 2 episodes of part 4, we talked about 2 connections that I red flagged first. The one was Gino Shvedoff, and the other was William or Bill Biscay. Within those videos, I gave you the reasons that these 2,
which I have watched and reacted to, so if you want to take a look at it, they're in my playlist. If you want to watch hers, again, go over to her channel, watch, comment, like, and share. You know the deal.
To individuals may be important to the case. Later on, at the end of the series, I will be tying all of this together in a conclusion of opinion. I do that with all of my deep dives. We'll get there. I know most of you understand that I'm putting myself out on a pretty shaky limb by divulging a lot of this information publicly.
Yep.
There are also people who don't find any of this information to even be relevant. It really is based on what theory you choose to believe or what theories you're open to. I am open to all theories. The only one I don't believe is the theory that Chris Watts' very first confession is the truth. Based on everything that I have learned over the last few years studying the Watts case, I can say that my opinion is that Shanann Watts did not snap and hurt her children. This series isn't complete, and I still remain unbiased. Anything is possible. It does happen where a mother hurts her children due to all sorts of reasons. More often, it's due to mental illness. Personally, I don't see this to be the case. I have studied cases specifically on homicides involving a mother and child, and while I can admit that Shanann was mentally drained at the time of this crime, Chris Watts had a lot to do with that. She had reason to be stressed out, but she was thinking clearly. She had a plan for resolution and was working on a plan in case there was no resolution. And in my opinion, that's someone who is of sound mind. I also don't believe Nichol Atkinson was involved. And again, that is because
that is atrocious to even hear that Nichol Atkinson would be somewhat involved. There's no motive. There's no gain for her. She was a great friend of Shanann's. There's no ties to her. I've watched the videos where people think that she's involved. I don't see it. I do not see it whatsoever.
Because of all I have researched so far. This investigation has taken off on its own course, and I'm just following the paths that I'm being led down. And nothing seems to be leading in her direction, at least not yet. But we'll get back into more of that later on in the series, though, when we specifically talk about popular or common theories that have been discussed over the last 8 years. But, speaking of theories, let me be clear on the theory that I'm beginning to believe in more and more. And that is the theory that Chris Watts had help with this crime.
Amen.
Or there were others involved in some way, shape, or form.
The only person that I think was involved was Nichol Kessinger. There's some shady stuff with Jim. I think Jim knew. I think Jim was supposed to be her alibi, but she, all in all, just was like, I don't want you guys talking to him. I don't see, or like Jim was like a lookout or something like that, but I don't think he had complete hands on at all. It's just my thoughts. Again, everybody's entitled to their opinions. We don't have to get feisty about it. We can discuss, but
either before, during, and or after the fact. And this is the main reason we're looking into Nichol Kessinger's contacts. We need to remember that Chris Watts was not a very social, outgoing guy.
No, he was not.
He was a husband and a father first. He did not have a bunch of friends or even acquaintances outside of Shanann's friends' husbands. Neither Chris or Shanann were Colorado natives. They were new to Colorado, or fairly new to Colorado, because in my opinion, 5, maybe 6 years is still fairly new if you're moving to a whole new state. It certainly doesn't hold a candle to Nichol Kessinger's 30-something years in Colorado. Now, many of us believe that Nikki may have conspired with Chris to commit this crime. If you believe that, then you also have to believe that if they needed any help, Nikki would have been the one to provide it or know the resources and have the connections necessary to do so. She's the only one who would have a motive for this crime that Chris knew, in my opinion. The main evidence that I found that supports my belief in this theory is Gino Shvedov. If that doesn't make sense to
I think it's possibly money driven here, but again, I can't say for certain.
I mean, you can go back and watch episodes 1 and 2 of part 4 again.
Very good.
But if it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. I can't explain it any better than I already have quite yet. Again, there will be a conclusion of opinion, and there is a certain way I have to go about presenting this information legally. We are not accusing anyone. We are simply mapping people involved and following leads. Looking through the phone records, there are some other suspicious communications besides the two people that we've been talking about. So let's get into those connections. Now, one of the people I've mentioned briefly in the last two videos, and I may have even mentioned her in other times during the timeline, is a woman named Brittany. I believe her to be one of Nikki's.
I looked up Brittany. She has her Facebook on lockdown.
Very close friends. She's also in the oil and gas industry, as are a few other people on her call logs. I haven't found anything suspicious about Brittany, and I have dug pretty deep.
But she was told by Nichol Kessinger to delete things about Nicole.
Nothing that would lead me to believe that she was involved in anything. I do question whether or not she knows what happened, or she at least knows a version that Nichol Kessinger told her, which is likely closer to the truth than what she told law enforcement. But again, that's just my opinion. Nikki spoke with Brittany during times where it's fairly obvious that Nikki would have needed a friend, a shoulder to cry on, if you will. People that she trusted to talk about what was going on in her life. She needed advice and she needed support. So Brittany being sandwiched into conversations with Jim and Gino, as well as Nikki's mom, dad, and sister, makes sense. There are a few others that I have just determined to be close friends of hers, but there are other numbers that aren't so transparent. Phone numbers that would appear to come from either burner phones or a burner app. There's also a number that is missing from Nikki's call history that I find to be suspicious. If you've followed me for a long time, you know that there have been cases where a lack of evidence is evidence of something nefarious. I don't know if this is nefarious or not. However, I do know that Danielle Haydahl's phone number is nowhere on any of Nicole's phone history. Why would this be weird? Some of you already know. You're already like, wait, what? What do you mean it's not there? Why would it be weird? Well, because Danielle Haydahl came in to stay with Nikki the weekend that the murders took place.
Last weekend, I had a friend impromptu come in town from out of state, and I hosted her for a few days.
From Montana.
I am so tired. Let me just think about this. Daniel came over Friday. I hung out with him Saturday, and then Sunday.
So I find it very hard to believe that they didn't speak over the phone before that quote-unquote impromptu visit. Was it that impromptu? Like, did
the card would be that's suspicious.
Danielle just randomly show up? I mean, that we don't know. But we do know that Nikki said she hosted Danielle on the weekend of the murders. Jim also was staying at Nikki's apartment on Monday, the day of the murders.
I am so tired. Let me just think about this. Daniel came over Friday. I hung out with him Saturday. And then Sunday.
When did Jim come in?
Monday.
Huh.
Jim got.
How did he know? I'm just realizing that. How did her father know about Jim being over there on Monday?
Here Monday.
Now, both Danielle and Jim both work for the same company, by the way. I don't know if I ever mentioned that in a past video, but yes, they know each other too, like outside of Nikki. Moving on to the possible burner calls. I want to say that, first of all, there is no way for a regular person to determine whether a number.
So if you guys don't know what a burner phone is, it's a phone that you pretty much can buy. You can throw it away. It's pretty much pay with cash, low cost. I mean, you're pretty much plain Jane phone, but you can't trace the phone call number back. There's a lot of things weird you can do with burner phones that I've seen in the past in criminal crimes.
Is a burner or not. So I cannot guarantee that these numbers are burners. All I can say is that they appear to be. based on the lack of information found attached to the number, which is the case for all burner numbers, right? We know Chris Watts made a call to an unknown number on July 19th, the day after he was.
Burner phone numbers do not have your name associated with them.
Searching for the Oxy on Google. So that's a coincidence. The exact number wasn't listed in Discovery, so I can't compare it to anything on Nikki's call logs, but it should be noted, in my opinion. Now, before we get into these numbers, I want to be very clear about something. I cannot prove that any of these numbers are burner numbers or from burner phones. I mean, honestly, that's kind of the whole point of a burner number in the first place.
You can't trace a burner phone.
What I can do, what I'm going to do, is show.
So it says, and the reason why I'm reading this is because I do have some blind people that cannot read these. So, why can't burners be traced? When you receive a call, burner forward calls from your burner numbers to your phone to stay anonymous. Whenever you place a call, it'll show up on somebody else's phone bill as a call from your burner phone or burner number, nothing else. So you could call somebody using your iPhone in Houston and someone else's phone bill, and it will show is the burner phone number, which could be from anywhere in the United States or Canada. That same applies to incoming calls. Your phone bill will show that you've received a call from your own burner number.
Show you why certain numbers listed on Nikki's call logs behave in ways that are statistically abnormal. Remember, this isn't about accusations, it's about patterns. Now, we've all noticed that a majority of the numbers on Nikki's call history behave like normal personal phone numbers. They have long histories, consistent usage, predictable calling patterns, and then there are other numbers that appear intensely for a short window of time and then vanish completely. No social footprint, no subscriber data, no long-term usage history. They don't behave like people. They behave like tools. If someone wanted to communicate without leaving a clean trail, this is exactly what that footprint would look like, in my opinion. This isn't proof, but it is pressure. In my mind,
and it's extreme pressure.
I think of burner, I think of the word phone going along with it. Burner phones are common, and pretty much everyone knows
you can get a burner phone for $20 or $19.
What they are, especially if you're into crime dramas like Law and Order, Criminal Minds, CSI. I mean, add your favorite in the comments below just for shits and giggles. Sometimes suspects end up getting caught because of the CCTV footage of them purchasing these burner phones, making the purchase of these phones a risk. But while searching for this video, I found out that you don't need to go out and buy a prepaid dump phone.
Nope.
No. You can use the phone you're holding in your hand. The same phone you use every single day. You can use your work phone. You can use any smartphone you already have lying around your home. All you have to do is download an app. Yes, there's an app for that. In 2018, there were actually a few apps for that, such as Hushed, Burner, Cover Me, and Text Me Up. These are considered to have been some of the top burner apps that were available in 2018. Each one has its own features, so depending on what you're using,
did they check her phone for that?
You can choose the best app for your.
We literally listened to him the other day. He collected the phone, but they never went through the phone. They got some messages, but they did it right in front of each other. They didn't even look through the phones. They collected it and threw it into evidence, and that was it. It's in the discovery.
Needs. They all come with a fee ranging from $1.99 to $7.99 monthly. Basically, you would download the app to your phone and just follow the instructions. You can change the number. You can have more than one number, have a separate voicemail and messaging center. Whatever you want to do, you can do for extra fees. Some offer one number free, some are $1.99 per number. Some have number packages, like 25 numbers for $11.99. You get the gist. So it's not hard at all.
And what do you think scammers are using?
To get and use a burner number. Gone are the burner phone days where your number may not be able to be traced, but your purchase of the phone can be. Gone as well is possessing multiple phones, which not only looks shady, but you also have to remember to wipe off your prints before dumping them. Now, don't get me wrong, there are many reasons people may need to use a burner phone or a burner number, such as owning your own small business. You may not want to use your personal phone number, but you're not quite making money yet to get a whole new phone for business. Things like that. They're not just for cheating spouses, drug dealers, and criminals of all sorts. There are many legit reasons that would require the use of a burner number. A lot of your robocalls and spam calls come from burner numbers. So now you're probably saying, well, then how do you know the phone numbers on Nikki's call logs aren't robocalls or spam calls? And that's where I have to admit, I don't. However, you will see that the phone numbers that I'm talking about are not just incoming, they're also outgoing. And unlike many robocalls, there's no link.
So each person that she's friends with, Jim, Brittany, Danielle, Chris, if she's talking to them about certain things, or Nicole to Chris, Nicole to Jim, Jim to Chris, who knows? God knows what knows. But they could all have the same app and be talking and we would never know it.
To the phone number whatsoever. Oftentimes with robocalls, when you look up the phone number, a company name will be attached to the phone number. With a burner number, you will find nothing of the sort.
Nope.
So the numbers that I'm looking at occur after the murders. There are a couple. From what I have read about burner numbers that are gotten through an app is that they won't show up as anyone on call logs, including your own. When it comes to your own phone bill, you will see calls made to or from your burner number show up as part of your regular call history.
And spam callers, they call you, but you don't call the spam people back.
So even if you share a phone plan, your spouse, your parents, or whoever you share it with wouldn't know you were using a burner either. Only you would, because you would know the number. But they will show up as incoming if they are incoming. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how I determined this number to be not only a burner number, but Nichol Kessinger's burner number. Allegedly. The reason I think this is because they are both incoming and outgoing calls listed from it.
For 4 minutes, 2 minutes, and you're not going to sit on a phone for 9 minutes.
And the outgoing calls registered as Georgetown, Colorado, a place we don't see anywhere else in her phone history. There are a couple of other numbers that may be burners, but this is the one that was used around the time that Trent Bolt came into the picture, which I found to be very coincidental. Weird unlisted numbers.
And Trent Bolt is cousins with Danielle.
All of a sudden popping up right around the time Nikki's freaking out and doing all of her little damage control. One of the numbers led to Ring Central, which is a company that allows you to use your personal phone as a business phone as well. Hence, you can have multiple numbers on your regular phone to use as you choose. Could I be wrong? Yes. This is only my opinion based on, you guessed it, patterns. Again, it's not the calls. It's not even the numbers. It's the placement for me. As you can see here, take a look at just the pattern and where these calls are.
So we got August 28th at 2:39, 3 minutes. August 29th. At 10:46 for a minute. August 29th at 10:58 for a minute. All the same. $15 minutes.
Placed. Who they're placed between.
3 minutes.
We have mom, dad, sister, important people. And then we have these numbers.
September.
Now these numbers are seen for the very first time on her history on August 28th of 2018. And the last one listed in the records was on September 11th of 2018. Though we only have records up to September 13th. So I don't know, but
they never started until August 26th, was it? She never got those in June, July, August.
They don't show up until August 28th. And August 28th is around the time that Trent Bolt is introduced into the picture. So that's where I'm seeing a little bit of coincidence. What does all of this mean?
Oh, man.
Does it matter? To be honest, I'm not going to lie. It doesn't really matter. But what it means,
it shows the intent to cover up and to remove somebody from said case, to get the eyes off of Nicole,
is that we can add some more shadiness to Nichol Kessinger's character. Now, if I can tie any of this to Trent Bolt, which stay tuned because we're going to get into him very, very soon. Not the next video, probably the one after that. But at the very least, as of this video, it's more evidence that Nichol Kessinger was hiding something. And I have a theory on what these burner numbers were used for, if in fact they are burner numbers at all. I mean, this is all alleged. The character of someone does not determine guilt or innocence, right? A judge and jury cannot convict someone of a crime solely based on their character. But character is an important thing to consider. We hear about character witnesses all the time in court proceedings. During the sentencing phase, family, friends, and co-workers, neighbors can write character letters to help the judge decide sentencing. If an inmate is up for parole, oftentimes there will be character letters read to help convince the parole board that the person's character has changed for the better. So character is important, but it is not evidence of a crime. And you guys know by now I will not lie or embellish things just to get likes and views.
Amen.
Part 4 is all about Nichol Kessinger's phone records and red flags that I noticed and looked into. So in doing that, these numbers couldn't be ignored. This is where we're going to be ending today's video.
That's why burner phones are hard to look up. They're burner phones for a reason.
We're getting through things as quickly as possible, but I know the wait can be frustrating. It is for me too.
The wait for her videos is definitely okay, because she does fantastic.
Wish I had more time.
It's like Christmas.
Accuracy, however, is extremely important to me, as is understanding what I'm revealing to you. Putting all of this information together in a way that's easy to understand is definitely a process. And then, of course, I'm putting the visual receipts up on screen as well to ensure that you see what I'm seeing. Thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a like, a comment.
I used to have a couple ex-girlfriends in the past that used burner phones, and you couldn't look their numbers up because they were using burner phones. Back then, when I was in 2007, we didn't have things like burner apps and so forth. You had to actually get a burner phone. They got burner phones and harassed me galore. But this makes so much sense.
And always leave a little green heart if you don't want to comment to let me know you enjoyed the video. Subscribers,
leave a purple
you
heart.
all know how much I love and appreciate you, and members, you guys are so amazing to help support the channel. I am contemplating some more membership tiers, probably starting more towards fall when I will be going full-time on YouTube. To all the new subscribers and members, I want to give you a big fat welcome to the UMTC family. We are growing, and hopefully one day UMTC will reach 100K.
Yeah, girl, get it. Get it. I want to do a collab with her so bad. We still have plans on it, but she's trying to get everything together. So maybe us waiting this entire time for her to go live is perfect, but definitely go over there, give her some love. I'd love to see her get 100K too.
Please have a great rest of your week or weekend. Please be safe, be happy, be healthy, and most of all, be unapologetically you.
go, girl. You know how to bring it out. Oh, I love this. So with that being said, I mean, it makes total sense why those phone numbers would not be accessible in the directory to find information of who they belong to. Because burner phones, you can't trace the numbers back. Hence the reason why a burner phone would be used. And it just so happens to be coincidence, quotations, that it was around the whole Trent Bolt thing, where we already know that Trent Bolt was non-existent. Chris wasn't, I mean, Chris was a lot of things, but he wasn't gay. I mean, there was some three-way butt stuff that was Googled, but I think that was just mostly for NK. This makes a lot of sense. Would they be able to probably look at the phone and see if she had an app? Could be. But again, we won't know because obviously it's been in collections in the evidence. It's probably been either one, removed, deleted, or possibly thrown away, knowing them trying to get rid of as much possible stuff. But again, hopefully in 2029, if this does go the way we want it to, and Behind Criminal Minds gets that friend that gets into the DA's office, this can possibly go a couple ways. And hopefully it is that instead of an interview that Nicole gave us, or likewise fake interviews, we can actually have her interrogated the right way instead of those botched interviews that were completely BS. So comment your guys' thoughts down below. If you've ever used a burner phone and stuff like that, definitely give us your take on it, because I would surely love to hear about it. I've never used a burner phone myself. I've always just had my normal number. And so I would definitely like to know from people's experiences what they've gone through with burner phones. Again, thank you guys for being here. Again, don't forget to go over to Unapologetically Me True Crime. Give her the love where it is due. Again, please take care, be safe. God bless. And of course, keep nerding on. And we will see you guys in that next video. Peace.